We're here through our lens, giving people's perspective on Juneteenth.
Celebrating our 29th year of Juneteenth from Imam Warthi Muhammad community. So we've been the forerunners in celebrating Juneteenth, and now we have the United States, or mostly, is celebrating Juneteenth.
We're here with the legendary Jamal Joseph. He's the director at the Columbia Film Department, and also a former Black Panther. And this is through our lens, and we're going to give him his perspective on Juneteenth.
First of all, good to see you, brother, doing the work. Juneteenth is so important because it represents a day when slaves found out that they were free. And the significance of it is not only to celebrate Juneteenth as a legacy holiday, but we're still not realizing that we're free or that we're still in the battle for free. We cannot do wrong with our rights. The struggle continues. And the struggle to wake up our brothers and sisters who are not out here with us on 116th Street and Malcolm X Boulevard, aptly named by our hero Malcolm X, that the struggle continues every day and that we fight with whatever weapons are available to us. You know, the Black Panther Party patrol the streets of Oakland and Seattle and other places with shotguns and law books and history books, but anything can be a weapon. We always said in the movement, let the teachers teach, let the bakers bake, let the healers heal, let the builders build, but let them do it with a Black consciousness and a consciousness of liberation.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for Black people to unite, show off all the talent that we have, and talk about the history that we have, especially here in Harlem.
This is the culture that we have to develop and make sure that it lives forever. And this is something that our people, the younger generation, must get into and get an understanding of where we come from and where we need to go.
I think it's a great celebration that finally more and more African Americans, along with the general community, is becoming more aware that I mean, it's a horrific thing that for someone to be free for 2 years and not know it.
Right.
And then, you know, armed forces had to go all the way down to the Gulf Coast, you know, to tell them that they're free. And then 500 brothers stand up in the army and say, we'll defend them. If you want to keep them enslaved, we'll defend them. We're willing to break rank and defend them.
Okay.
I think that's an honorable thing.
Honorable thing.
This is Hamed with Muslim Harlem. We're here in 116th Street for the Juneteenth celebration. And Juneteenth is a holiday that commemorates the emancipation of the enslaved African Americans. So we are all out here in representation. This is our Juneteenth Emancipation Day collection. We're MuslimHarlemApparel.com, and we out here to celebrate American history, Juneteenth. This is Through Our Lens.
This is Dominic, Through Our Lens, and we just want to speak what y'all think about Juneteenth made a holiday today.
Okay, yeah, it's been a holiday to us ever since the beginning that they started the holiday. It means to us unity in the community. You know what I'm saying? We never free because we still going through it right now.
Facts.
But for them to give us something to think about, for our people to come together in unity, that's what's important. You know what I'm saying? Juneteenth is for the community. It's for us to bring unity to the community.
Do we think we need to get more young people involved with this holiday just to be made aware it could become bigger in that type of way?
No question. You got to have them involved. Without the youth, you can't move forward because they're the future.
I thank y'all. Thank y'all. This is Through Our Lens. Appreciate it.
This is Through Our Lens. This is my brother D from Rough Riders, and I'm Poe Dean. Let's do this.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that it became a federal holiday. I've been doing this over 25, 30 years with my grandmother here in Harlem. She was actually honored in the 2008 Juneteenth parade. We were on the floats because of all of the work that she did. She opened up a food pantry. She helped write the women's to welfare rights, or the working rights for welfare. So I'm here to support that, support Juneteenth. We've all, progressed, but we need some more.
Right.
And I'm glad that now that we're getting the national or international notoriety about it, but we still have some work to do. Teresa Kelly, the name of my brand is Food Chicks. We're going to be on the south side I'm going to head that up with my son, Tevin Kelly and Tiara Kelly. They're my co-partners in this to get this dream up off the ground. Stay tuned.
Peace and blessings, family. I'm really excited. I can't even tell you. I worked on the city level with our former mayor de Blasio to help make it a holiday on the city level. I am really glad that our state senator Cordell Clare has pushed for it to become a holiday on the state level. So we are really excited. One of the biggest things during slavery, and I have to go back to that because we didn't come here as slaves. We came here as kings, queens, educators, astronomers, all of that. Most of what is done in this country now is representative of what we brought to this country. So I don't want to get it twisted. We did not come here as slaves. We came here as all of that and more. So here we have the float. Street Corner Resources has 3 floats. I'm going to show you 2 of them. This one I'm really, really proud of that we sponsored for Mojo with a Cause with Sister Netta. This is the graduation, Harlem graduation walk. 2022. She's been doing a fabulous job. Why during Juneteenth did I ask her to be in this parade with this walk and to merge it? Because education during the time of slavery was not allowed. You would be killed if you taught somebody to read or write or educate. And here, Sister Netta, Mojo with a Cause, Harlem Nerds, all of the folks who have done this, this is what they do. Street Corner Resources is the sponsor on it. We're proud to be, but it's to support education. Let's walk this way, and I'm just going to show you 2 other floats, one in particular. So as we walk, you know, there's no quick hit on why why it's important to celebrate Juneteenth. We are not celebrating the releasing of slaves. We're celebrating our freedom. And we have to know that freedom is every day. We move from a place of incarceration. We got to stop putting our babies in the grave. Stop hunting and killing each other like we were hunted during slavery. That Juneteenth is all about, that's right, this is what it is. It's community. So that's why we walk with each other. We stand with each other. So when people join in, they're joining in and walking with me because we walk in our freedom. We create, we elevate, we uplift, we love. And even when we disagree, we keep love going. So here's our other float. And we celebrate our young people everywhere. So I want to show, this is Street Corner Resources' main float. We're really excited. This is Street Corner Resources team. And we're here to say Street Corner Resources is here because we do the anti-violence work in Harlem. We would rather be doing more prevention like we are doing. We'd like to create even more. But we stand with Juneteenth. Our work is to keep our community violence free. But when we think about Juneteenth and we think about the psychology of it, that we were taught that we were not the best, that we were not the great ones, although we came here as the great ones. Our job at Street Corner Resources is to prove that thinking wrong. And so during Juneteenth, and for us Juneteenth is all year long, we raise up young people to know that they are great and that they can do. And that's to keep our young people from the cage in the prison and the box in the grave. We're not doing that. We did that already in slavery. We saw people incarcerated. Our young people are learning they don't have to hunt each other. It's all about freedom. It's all about celebrating our freedom continuously every single day. On this ground that our ancestors stood on, we stand on to make things better. That's what we do. We stand on this ground to make things better. Peace and blessings. Happy Juneteenth. We uplift. Somebody say, I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. This is through our lens. This is through our lens. Peace. Street Corner Resources. Aisha Sekou, CEO and founder.
Bobby Seale, founder of the Black Panther Party, said years ago, and this was before cell phones, that when he and Huey Newton started the Panther Party, they had shotguns, legal weapons, and law books because those were the weapons of change at that moment. But that if they were starting the party then, and this was 20 years ago, Panthers would be out with cameras and with computers. Now we have it all in our pockets. So spreading that word, organizing, and there is no substitution for gathering. You know, when we were an enslaved people, we found ways to sneak to secret spots on the plantation and in the woods at night to meet, to talk about our history, to talk about survival, and to talk about our liberation. So our gathering in person is very important. Yes, the digital revolution
But it's the
and
right to
political
assemble.
education,
Right.
But the right to assemble and for us to see each other, to embrace each other, to exchange ideas, to inspire each other, to motivate each other is vitally important. And this is why gatherings like this are important, but we have to make Juneteenth every day for us. The same way Black History Month has to be all year long, we have to keep the struggle alive every day.
Yeah, because it's not only just U.S. history, it's a global history.
Absolutely. And again, Brother Malcolm X understood, as many of our leaders did, Marcus Garvey, W.B. Du Bois, understood that we are a African people, Pan-Africanism, that we are a majority of the world's thought, power, people, and that our culture and our connection has to be as a united people.
Now you said a mouthful. This is Through Our Lens, and this is our perspective, Through Our Lens.
This is a magnificent celebration in an historic location of our connection to a long history of struggle. Of course, we're living in a moment when racial capitalism is trying to recuperate everything about our culture. But Juneteenth for me represents the best of African American culture and African diaspora culture for that matter, which is about resistance and a remembrance of resistance and practices of Black freedom that take place on our terms and on our turf. So I'm just delighted that this is happening actually on the block where we live, right?
Yeah, because it's coming from our block, but Black history is global history.
Black history, that's why I said this is about the diaspora. And it's a moment for us to connect ourselves through the history of the enslavement of our people and through our struggle for liberation to global struggles of people of African descent for liberation. We were forcibly cut off from any knowledge of our history. A lot of people don't know that it was actually a crime for us to learn. And in many parts of this country today, learning while Black is still seen as a menace to the status quo. So this is a celebration and an enactment of the history of Black freedom and the lived enactment of our history. As an architect of critical race theory, I think that critical race theory is fundamentally, for me, about the development of critical Black literacy. Black people in this country, and indeed around the globe, suffer from a kind of literacy deficit. And in this country, in particular, an absence of how fundamental the Black belief in the idea, in the possibility, the still unrealized possibility of racial democracy in America is to everything we can imagine of a Black future. And so for me, critical race theory is about envisioning, imagining, and thinking a Black future.
Most definitely. This is Through Our Lens, and you heard it first.
I'm glad now that they're recognizing and acknowledging, Juneteenth as a celebration for African Americans, and that, more of our history is now coming up forth, because a lot of our history has not been spoken about, hasn't been told, has been hidden, has tried to be erased. So I'm glad now that they're actually acknowledging Juneteenth as a celebration. And I'm glad people are more aware of, our history, of our history. So, I could go on and on and on, but I'm happy.
This is Through Our Lens. This is a show that's talking about the African American experience. What does Juneteenth mean to you?
Juneteenth means, as it says on our shirts, freedom, justice, and equality. And just ironic that I just came from Texas and went over to Galveston, Texas, where it all started. So this is an exciting year for me because of the trip that I just made. So Juneteenth is very important, and I like to commend Master Malcolm Shabazz for 29 years of holding the fort down.
I think it's long overdue. I think a lot of holidays that really does commemorate the African American history and experience here is most of the time is overlooked. It normally come, decades and years later.
Right.
So to have Juneteenth as a federal holiday where people can not only just go shopping and be commercialized, but to be able to, like I got my children here, I got my grandchildren here, I got my foster children here, some of my religious communities here, and so educating our people about the responsibility of being free.
Right.
And there are people who are sacrificed so that we can have these freedoms, so we have to value them more.
Today I'm here in celebration of my family. My brother is vending. Hamed has Muslim apparel, and I'm supporting black businesses as my brother, and I appreciate what the Masjid Al-Aqsa is doing and keeping this history alive and the tradition alive of educating our community on the importance of Juneteenth. And I think it's important that we acknowledge our history and that we keep it alive so that our young children and those from other cultures can learn about our history and honor it and respect it and keep it alive. So that's my perception of it. This is Through Our Lens. Tahira Talabdeen, Hearts Connecting, Dream Big and Grow Rich, representing. We know what this is about, because we have to tell our narratives. In order for us to preserve our history, we have to publish it, and film and media is a form of publishing. Shout out to my brother-in-law Fahim, Earthquake Entertainment. He's the bomb. He got it going on. He know what time it is. Assalamu alaikum.